Thank you, champions.
Thank you for joining.
All right.
And today we want to actually talk to you a little bit about who we are and what we're doing at DailyPay, which is an awesome company that actually invented a whole new category around changing pay for good. It's on-demand pay. We talk a little bit about that, but then we want to very quickly talking about how we actually scale DXI in a very fast-growing company. I mean, I'm talking exponential. I'm not talking linear. So it's really exciting to be at DailyPay at this time. You know, we have a community around DXI. We're scaling really well, and then it's all about connecting the dots in such a big community. How do we enable that on a technical side, but also on the community side? We will have some examples there, and then we will share some DXI love with you.
Oh, there's going to be love, all right. So at DailyPay, we are on a mission to change pay for good. And it's actually a really simple concept, right? You should get your pay as you earn it. You know, when you think about it, this whole notion of getting paid every 2 weeks doesn't really fit with people's financial lives. And it's very mentally taxing to kind of keep track of everything. Okay, well, when I get paid in 2 weeks, I'm going to pay this bill first, and then I got to pay so-and-so, and I got to pay my friend back for, you know, spotting me for the pizza, or, you know, whatever. It's not as easy as people think. And I live and breathe in real user stories. So let me tell you what happened to a real person. She wanted to buy concert tickets that day. Now, you know concert tickets sell out quickly, so she needed to buy it right then and there. And she didn't want to put it on her credit card because she's responsibly managing credit card debt. Fantastic. But how else was she going to get these tickets? Her bank account didn't have enough. So here's where DailyPay comes in. So she had access to the pay that she had already earned. But you know what? It's not just about accessing your pay, right? It's about flexibility and control. You'd be surprised at how many people we get coming just to check their pay balance.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because that's a number that grows every day. Now, I challenge you all to go to your bank accounts right now. What do you see? You see that number depleting every day, but not with DailyPay. And now we have a brand new product, which I'm not going to go deep into, but we have a Friday card where you can not only get access to your pay, but you can use that as a payment vehicle.
Friday card. It's right there. It's in my wallet. It's always with me. It's awesome. That's where your pay is on daily. It's great. I love it. And then you just like, pay. So that's how you do it. Awesome. And so, what does DXI mean to us? And there were elements already that Dar talked about, that we discovered that people actually love to check their paycheck on a daily basis with our app. They don't go to the HR component in their company to look. They look at our app where they're standing with their pay. And sometimes, they have some experiences that are not that great. You might get a 1-star review, like the one up there. But the point of this conversation here is that we actually build a community around it. We don't hide the 1-star. We actually feature it. We have a Slack channel for it. The company actually, that's the first thing that I do every morning. I look at what the reviews are. What can we do around it? What do we learn? Then we read through this, and you will see a cross-functional collaboration over there with 24 replies on that. That was engineering in there, DXI, product, design, marketing. Everybody talked about this and tried to figure out what can we actually do? How do we improve? What do we do on that day? Not maybe in a week or in 2 weeks, but on that day. And we came up with a solution. We reached out to that person, and you can see the result. It's a 5-star review. That type of attitude actually drives funnel conversion rate up. You can see an example there. Medium time to convert. It drives our business. It drives business results. Dar, you wanted to talk?
It's good business. You might see this. This is the same person. This is the same person. You might say, why are you spending so much time on one person? It's good business. Yeah. And as a P&L owner, I'll tell you, it shows up there.
Yes.
So, great. Some of you might think, well, why don't you have like a person or a team that focuses on this so we can do our day jobs, right? And I get why you might say that. I understand, like, we are all busy, so it's like, wait, you want me to think about this stuff in addition to my job, right? But we don't think in that way, right? It takes a village, and it takes a cultural change to have this mindset. Now, we started small at DailyPay. That's kind of one of our values. We start real simple. And we started just with the product team. Now that's the team that I oversee. And once a week we got together to listen to support calls. So we listened to support calls and then we'd start digging and like the Zoom chat went like furiously, off the charts with us trying to figure out, well, okay, I'm gonna go look at the system, et cetera. Well, other teams started to catch wind of what we were doing and they started to become interested. Next thing you know, now we have a company-wide, every few weeks, a company-wide event where we get together, we review these, and it's not just listening to the call. We listen to the call, we look at full story, we look at any other tool that we have that kind of helps us tell this story for this user. And I'll tell you, a lot of product improvement, small ones too, product people love to hear this, small effort, high impact. A lot of product improvements have come from this. This is a cultural change, and it's a really important one.
Yeah. Yes, and once you start this type of engagement, we laid full story into those customer calls, right? People were guessing what was the customer experiencing, nobody actually knew. Then we laid full story in, and then all of a sudden, people were saying like, oh my God, could we have this in all of our experiences, right? When I started at DailyPay about 6 months ago, engineering was using full story quite a lot for bug hunting, naturally. But it was not really turned on to full capture at that moment, and other teams really didn't make much use out of full story because it was kind of like an alien thing, maybe not really advertised that well. And but then we made DXI really a practice. We laced it into the coffee with customer community word spread, and all of a sudden we started using it in support. Support and I we're talking a lot together, about, hey, what should we learn out of this situation? Any situation, we just look at that, we talk about that daily. We're trying to bring it into operations. We're actually looking at fraud patterns now. We have segments that capture fraud patterns, which is really great. Our fraud team and security team are actually dialed into full story. And with product UX and design, it's a complete new world. And it's great to get the qualitative insights into the product across all the departments and to be even able to give customer stories, work with the customer success team to actually share that with a customer, with our big customer names. It's wonderful to get that in there and do also persona development in a way that you've never seen it before. Right, so it's a huge change that DXI sparks. Just the impact from 1 department to 9 departments within 6 months. That's huge. And
we're inspired, which means that we're very busy because we are constantly looking at these use cases, and there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Now, you may look at this image, right? Many of you across the room, you may look at this image and you see a map, right? We don't see a map. We see a journey. Each of these dots represents an interaction with the customer, right? And if we're looking at just one dot, guess what? We're only going to see a sliver of what the actual customer journey is. For us, it's not that individual interaction with us, but it's the whole path that a user takes. Mm-hmm. What's really powerful for us is the connected ecosystem. So we're going to give you some examples of how we're doing this practically and how we're connecting these systems to tell that full story. See what I did there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. But this is where the power is, right? It's that connected ecosystem that tells us the entire journey, where we start to get really darn smart about what's happening.
And it's not only about that journey, mapping it out, but it's really minding the gap. If you see a gap, don't accept the gap. Bridge the gap. And that's what we want to show in the examples that we want to share pretty
we do
shortly.
Love our analogies.
Mind the gap. I have to say that, when you see the London subway map. But okay, so connecting the dots. How do we do this? We want to share like 3 examples here on how we actually do this and how do we see this. Example number 1, like customer support is really expensive. And the more calls you get, the more you actually need to expend on really delightful customer support. We want to deliver, we want to show up on that, and we do. But to keep on adding customer support people globally is just not the answer. So how can we actually help people up front to self-service? How do we get insights into what hurts the people who are calling the most? It's very hard when you go to Zendesk and try to read through all of those tickets. It's physically not possible.
It's impossible.
I'm crazy enough to have started to try, but it's just not possible. So luckily we got this tool UnitQ in there that we linked FullStory with, and Dar will tell you a story about how we did that. And then in the second example, I will go over how we linked up error management reporting. I mean, that's just my email inbox is full of Sentry alerts, but which of them are actually really customer impacting? Once you link it up with FullStory, you know which one to act to and which one not, right? Specifically on a Saturday or Sunday when Sentry is going to tell you that, oh my God, there are 5,000 users impacted on something, and you're like, do I have to just put that into PagerDuty and wake up the developer? Probably not, but, or sometimes yes, right? But you need a tool that helps you to decide. Third example, I don't know if you all use Pendo, but if you use Pendo and you use those Pendo guides, you don't know what those guides actually do in the app to your customers and how they experience it. Now with FullStory, you can actually figure out the efficacy of your Pendo guide. And so that's what we're going to look into. Dar, you head it off with UnitQ.
Okay, I'll kick it off with UnitQ.
Awesome.
We love to share examples because this stuff can get a little lofty at times for folks, so we like to share real practical examples so that you can take that away and think about how that might apply at your company. You mentioned support.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how many reports I read of call volume tickets or by type, right? And these are self-reported, right? These are agents who are trying to get people off the phone. They're measured by call handling time, and trying to tell us what category this falls into. And that's great directionally, but it doesn't really give us the insights that we need. So here's where something like UnitQ comes in. UnitQ is a quality tool. And they're an extraordinary team. They're really great people to work with, and I highly, highly recommend them. But there's this notion I want you all to kind of take away here, right? Which is you can't resolve what you don't see, and you can't prioritize what you don't measure. So UnitQ helps us solve that. And you mentioned support, but wait a minute, it gets better. I feel like that's an infomercial. It gets better. No, so not only are they connected to our support system, so they're actually looking at the transcripts and the actual words used. That's really, really important here. But they're connected with all sorts of actually a pretty robust set of external systems. What does that look like? App reviews, Reddit, Better Business Bureau. If I had a human look through all those sources every day and try to make sense out of all this, they would never do it. They couldn't. So UnitQ helps us in terms of tracking all those trends, and they map it to support. So now we start to see what's actually happening, the words that people are using. It also teaches us how to speak about certain scenarios, and we use it in training for our agents as well. So great, fantastic. UnitQ has found us an area or a theme for a quality issue. Great. They've helped us scale it, meaning we know the impact, right? We know what the biggest ones are and the ones that aren't. Great, now we have a little bit of priority. Now what? Mm-hmm. Now what?
Exactly.
Remember that map? Remember that sliver? Okay, so now we have this one dot. So this is where we bring in FullStory, because it helps us find those precise examples of user interactions that led to that call, that led to that review, that led to, insert item here, right? So now we know what's getting them there. We know the friction, and our root cause analysis. Do you remember what our root cause analysis was like before? It's like guessing. It's like
guessing and throwing a dart at it.
Maybe they press the button. I don't know what they did. Maybe it's like a Tuesday. Root cause analysis can be very hard without this, but now we have it, and now we see it. So we're a heck of a lot more responsive than we could be, and that's through the power of connecting these two systems.
Yeah, well said. Thank you. And error management, I mean, who actually reads these nice messages from Sentry? If you use Sentry, do you ever read them? I love the one where it complains that the chunk wasn't loaded. I mean, you look at the green-faced emoji, like that's like, whoa. But anyhow, you get these things, and then like the one over here in this presentation. Oops, where is this? Oh, over here. You see, the error, promise reaction job didn't work. Impacts 5,000 users. I'm like, holy smokes. I'm reading this thing, I'm like, what's happening? Well, the good thing is we have Full Story and Sentry linked up. And so you can basically go into Sentry, you look at the whole thing, you look at the Full Story link, and you see this actually posted there. It's wonderful. You click on that link, you're in Full Story, you see the session, and you see that it was not business impacting at all. The customer didn't even notice that React error was there. So, transfers is our business. We transfer money from your paycheck into your pocket. So transfer was successful. I was really delighted. And we do this at scale, right? It's just not one example. It's like, how do you get on top of all of these Sentry errors? And we do take Sentry serious. There's PagerDuty hooked up to some Sentry errors, right? But this one was not a candidate for PagerDuty. So, you don't have to wake up a developer in the middle of the night or the weekend for things like that. That's really great. We love our customers, we love our developers, we love our product team. That's why we don't want to cry wolf all the time, and that's what we use Full Story for. Yeah. Next slide.
Before I say that, though, I want to say something. I want to say something that Lars doesn't realize that he does. He helps calm us down a lot, right? Because it's very easy. How often have you been in a situation where somebody gets worked up, and then the next person piles on, and the next person piles on, and next thing you know, it's like this mess. Through these systems that we have now, we can kind of like calm everyone down. Like, let's focus on what matters. It's very easy to get distracted. Let's focus on what matters. Sorry, I just had to add that.
Thank you
you're
so
like
much because
to many of us here at DailyPay.
This helps a lot with the transition in this one here, because our marketing team, our product team, they love the customers so much, and we have this Pendo tool with which you can reach out to the customer and ask them things and give them guides and ask them questions, and you get feedback, and wow. I'm like, does anybody ever check on the impact on it? And did you know that you delivered 3 guides to somebody and they didn't get to that transfer within 9 minutes because like all of these things overlaid? So we tamed that, but it was only visible through Full Story. And when it comes to business impact, for instance, over here we have a guide, the NPS. We measure NPS within Pendo, which is a great thing. We love it, and we have fantastic NPS ratings. And we get wonderful insights from that, but we don't want to really impact our main business. Our main business is transfers, and we coded the transfers in Pendo as blue. So you see over there a Pendo example where all of a sudden there's a huge gap. Oh my God. In the middle of blue, the last line there in the Pendo example actually says that the guide was fired, and I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. We need to take this NPS down. The location of the NPS is impacting transfers. But it's only Full Story that helped me calm down, right? Because then what you see over here in full privacy by default, right? That's how the NPS review looks when you have privacy by default on. I saw that somebody happily filled this out and then completed that survey and went on to do another transfer. It's like, yes, not impacting, and that person actually said, quote, "It is truly helpful and life-changing." So I have to come closer because I don't wear glasses right now to read this. But it was great, great feedback, and we see this in the tool. That was actually from Pendo, not through I don't read like between or in those privacy lines. That's not where I picked this up. But in Pendo, that feedback comes back verbatim. So it's a wonderful combination of tools here that helps us a lot.
And it's just 3 examples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have more.
Oh, yes.
And we're constantly building more and more connections. Mm-hmm. So that's, again, the connected ecosystem is what is so powerful for us. And
mind the gap. Like, get really irritated about this and build tunnels, build bridges, get a community involved. There are connectors. Look, there is not a native connector to UnitQ. we made it happen. We worked with them, we worked with Zendesk, and we just imagined it. And if you're craving examples like this and you want to read more about how I do the magic that I do, just read my book. Okay. Dar did that.
I read the book. It's actually quite good. And I really enjoyed reading it. And I've enjoyed this last year and the transformation that we've been able to have at DailyPay. And nothing gets people more excited, more passionate, more engaged than exposing this stuff to them.
Yes, and if you love DXI and you want to apply at a company and they ask you, what do you do? Hand them this book. I did this for my interview and it worked. I said, like, look, let's just talk after you read the book. I do everything that's in the book, nothing outside of the book. And my manager was like, that's inspiring. That's what we need. Before, I couldn't articulate this because this field was so new. I'm not saying that you have to write a book. I mean, do this, please, and share with me, but you can also, like, find yourself in there and say, look, this is what I do. Because it's very hard to figure out, between all this. It's a new experience, what we do with DXI. And you got to articulate yourself, and hopefully this is helping you to articulate yourself, because I was struggling with this quite a lot, and I just had to, like, write it down. And thank you for reading it, Dar.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yes,
and also, it starts simple. Some of the stuff can be a little overwhelming, or it can seem like unattainable, and it's not. You can start simple. You can start taking steps to move your organization in that way.
And we also have a reveal, which is great. This is like DXI love goes deep here.
Oh, it goes deep.
Dar, do you want to talk about this? I want to give kudos to Kirsten and team, for making this happen. Dar.
Okay. So
your big reveal.
I don't need to tell you. Hopefully, we've shown you how customer obsessed Lars and I are. Right? And we get really excited. Like when we have these conversations, these are some passionate conversations. And it's great because it makes me show up every morning and I'm so excited about what I do. But a funny thing happens sometimes when I'm Dar, hi. Lars and I get passionate about something. We started to do this stuff and I'm like, wow, like I'm just so inspired. Like I love Full Story. I love what we're doing. I love this whole, digital experience. Like, I just love all of it.
You talked about the North Star,
we talked
the
about
customer
the North
experience.
Star, and about how this gives us purpose, direction, meaning, focus, all these wonderful things. And I said, I like it so much, I want to tattoo it on my body. Now, okay, see, this is what I don't know when I'm having this conversation.
I was like, is she really serious? I mean, would she really do that?
Yeah. So he's on the side having a conversation with the Full Story folks and telling them about this. Next thing I know,
this fine lady in the back there, yes, Kirsten.
Next thing I know, I'm having these great conversations about why I'm so passionate about True North and direction and all this stuff. And I said, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's design a tattoo that symbolizes something that I'm passionate about personally and professionally. And let's make something out of it. So without further ado, you'll hear more about this later.
Do you have something up your sleeve there?
Oh wait, okay.
Where's that slide? Never made it on there. That's why I wanted to make sure we have them. But
you've heard it here first. Yeah. Everyone, please squint your eyes. You heard it here first. This is a full-on Compass Rose Full Story tattoo on my arm. This is my commitment.
It doesn't scrub off, no. Not like the one from yesterday where you can actually
it does not scrub off. I hope my mom's not watching this. But here it is. Here's my commitment. Here's our commitment to this space. So thank you to the team for making this happen. It was a great journey. And thank you to you all for just sitting here and listening to us talk to you about what we're passionate about.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lars and Dar. We have a little bit of time for questions. The way we'll do it, if you have a question, just raise your hand, and I will run awkwardly to you to bring you the mic so you can ask.
Wow. Thank you.
It is on.
Oh, we need the mic in the back. What was the question?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Try to see if we can get another one.
Yes. Never ending.
think
like
Homer
running
will
around.
fix you up over there. Yes.
He's getting his steps in. Running around.
Sorry, I probably couldn't help that. No, just making jokes. Do you get a free subscription for life, and is it portable no matter where you work?
Listen, I'm not the one to make that decision, but Kirsten, I mean, if you want to talk later, let's.
We'll totally figure something out. I guess I am going to ask a question. So, Lars, this is
Yes, ma'am.
for you. Your book, Digital Customer Experience Engineering. I'm curious, how do you define the word engineering within?
Yes, that's a very good question. So I'm an engineer by trade and I wanted to do something about digital customer experience, but I knew it had to be connected to a universe of other tools to be really, really effective. When I was head of tech support at PayPal, I had the wonderful experience that somebody engineered the entire visibility of all the 150 million actives at that time, and I was able to basically trace everything through the middleware to the back of the house, the front of the house to figure out where it breaks. And I was thinking about how was this actually built? What type of engineering is necessary to build this? And at PayPal, they built it with another product, and I was looking for something that doesn't take so much energy to actually really build, but it's also highly connective, and that's where I landed with Full Story, and there are so many connections that you can utilize, but it requires some engineering to actually get that going, right? And to bring it together and know when to connect which information to which point and to whom, right? And that's the engineering that I'm talking about, right? So it requires product to partner up with an engineer, yes. That's natural, but it requires marketing to, marketing sometimes like, why do I work with an engineer? It's like, look, I can help you. I can do this with customer success as well. I can work on persona development and get some engineering insights, that you haven't ever imagined to do. And that's the magic behind that engineering field, right? And it's relatively new, and not too many people are, practicing in it, but more and more people nowadays do, and I want to encourage them to find themselves and actually go out there and do this, because it's magic once you actually put this all together.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, right? Because as this continues to evolve, it's not going to be just engineering. It's going to be every role. So the more that we can learn about this and the more that we can kind of build this into our skill set, the better off all companies are going to be.
Yes. Thank you for the question.
No, we
Yes,
got
ma'am.
one over here.
Hi, it sounds like a lot of people in your organization have access to Full Story, but for those who aren't self-serving, what are some of the ways you found to share out information? I know like my product team are only really interested when it affects them quite a bit, because they've got so much else going on. So any tips or tricks there?
Oh yes, it's very simple, because what we do is whenever I share out on Slack, I always share, when you do the node piece in Full Story, you can basically get that share copy and everybody can just watch it, right? So you don't have to actually consume seats. We don't actually have that many seats, and we have many more. We have 10 times more people in the company than, not even more, than we have seats. So it's like share it out, people click on it, see some insights. If they need to know more, we will work with them later. They come to me and say, hey, look, I think for this effort, we might need a seat, and they will get seats, and then they get their work done. Sometimes they hand the seat over to somebody else later on, right? But it's a universe of what, 60 practitioners that are constantly in there, and in a company of over 1,000 people, right? And with that, I think we found the right scale on the seats side, but with that sharing link, we can make everybody a community. With Coffee for Customer, I share these links all the time, and a lot of people who don't have seats, they watch this and they're like, oh my God, what type of insights am I getting here? This is just amazing. And then, can you share more? It's like, yeah, let's talk.
But you're building curiosity, right?
Yes.
Like technically speaking, that's how you share, right? But you maybe want, like, product people are really busy, like all the time, and they have like 70 million things they're juggling all at once. So you're trying to get them to care, right? And have time to look into it and make time to look into it. Well, that requires a little curiosity, but it doesn't always happen when you're busy. So when you're not seeing that, what you do is you create that curiosity. For us, it has been these company-wide meetings or these product team meetings. Hey, you know what? Okay, fine, you're busy, you're right. Okay, we're gonna pick and choose a couple of scenarios, and then we're gonna meet and we're gonna talk about it. Great, then the next week you pick 3 more, and then 3 more.
Yes.
And all of a sudden what you're sparking, like what we've sparked is that curiosity. Now they want more. If it's not coming naturally to you, just start simple.
Yeah, it's a part
give
of
them
a
context.
ritual in the community, yes, and
That's right.
it's actually fun, you know. When we talk, we will listen, we talk. Everybody speculates. There is no wrong answer, you know. We use emojis a lot. It's fun, and
We
then
do
we put.
use emojis a lot.
Oh yes, we
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have some product people that have their own emojis with a halo and all that. It's fantastic, you know.
We
I
even
mean,
make our own. Like,
we make
so,
our own
yeah.
emojis. Yes, we're addicted to them.
Thanks for the question. It's a good one.
All right, well,
Excellent
thank
question.
Lars and Dar one more time.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank
Thank you again.
you.
We are at the break session again. I believe this is where we break for lunch, so enjoy lunch, and we'll see you back here, I believe, at 12:45.
All right.
Thanks, all.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, can I see your close pictures?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It is real.
Yeah.